Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today I forgot to bring an SD card. Sorry, as I was saying, I realised the little locking tab on this thing was floopery, so it was trying to drown me in fuel. Oh, I love the cost of fuel over here. But yeah, I forgot to put the SD card back in my other camera, so we're on one camera today, the new one. Yeah, which could be worse obviously, so we won't complain. And today what I want to talk about is, I don't know, has anyone ever who watches my channel, I don't think I've ever mentioned lamb chop rides before. But lamb chop rides is you know, one of the OGs, really, as far as like a lot of reviews and stuff goes, in my opinion. He's a guy I've been watching a long time. Seems like a very nice man. I've never met him, I've never really spoken to him, even on Instagram and stuff. Like, that's how I got to know Bruce, T-Pot on Insta, was all kind of Instagram, really. I don't know why, but it's just I've never ended up reaching out to lamb chops. It's always been just comments, which, you know, I made a couple of over the years. But he has a new bike with the new Honda Hornet, and I wanted to talk about the Honda Hornet anyway, but I was watching his new video today, and something he said actually spurred a comment in me. And I hope I didn't come across like too much of a poophead to him. But it was just one thing he said that kind of, you know, spurred the thought juices in my head. Let's go this way today. And it was, you know, that he said that, oh, you know, Honda could charge way more for this. And Honda could charge way more for it. Like, they legitimately could. But that doesn't mean that's right, you know. And personally, I think hats off to Honda. Oh, I should not have come this way. This is not the turn I meant to take. Just do a U-turn on some giblets all over the ground. I wonder, could I go over there? Over by the train tracks. That'd be cool. I've really never gotten to use the V-Strom for V-Strom things, but anyway. That's a wrong turn anyway. But yeah, anyway, back to the point. So, you know, he made a comment how they could have charged more, and they could have, I agree. I'm glad they didn't. Now, there we go, we're back up to speed. I'm glad they didn't, and you know, like, I think the Hornet is going to come to America only as the SP. I've read that. I don't know how correct that is. And it's going to start at like $11,000, which is phenomenally good value for a new bike of the caliber of the Honda Hornet, especially the SP version, if that's true. Like I said, not sure is that particular price and stuff correct. I'll try to check it and put a big no, it's not true on the screen right now if it's not true. But you know, that's one thing that I personally find, oh, that's a nice truck, very interesting, is you know, that they've brought out something, and you know, a lot of people have theorized that this is the CF Moto effect, that, you know, brands are kind of growing concerned that you know, they really have some stiff competition, and it's kind of like the effect what the Japanese bikes had back in the day. I mean, I don't know how many people here or watch this, read old magazines and stuff. Obviously I didn't live through it, but I read lots of old magazines growing up that, you know, used to be like, oh, Japanese bikes are trash, and, you know, they're really poor build quality and whatever else, which obviously maybe they had some issues at some point. I personally have yet to find even an older Japanese bike that I would consider to be really poorly built. But, you know, everyone has teething problems, and I think, you know, that's currently where we're at with CF Moto. It is that, like, that fear of change more so than anything else. It's like, oh, this is new and it's Chinese. I mean, the amount of stuff we buy that's Chinese, and I'm not going to go back in that because I made a video about it before, but I do wonder, is it the CF Moto effect? Those are cute horses. Hello, horses. That, you know, other manufacturers have kind of stood up and taken notice. I think certainly the Hornet is a play to kind of bring a really good quality bike back in at a price point that's more attractive to people. Because look, the fact of the matter is, no matter what way you slice it, and that's why I left a comment for lamb chops in that, like, oh, yeah, sure, they could have charged more, but, like, should they have? No. You know, it's a whole thing about, you know, like, my age group and whatever else. Our wages relative to history, their historical wages haven't increased at the same rate that like everything else has. You know, like we're worse off than our parents. That's a whole thing I'm not gonna get into, but yeah, I mean, you can look it up if you want to. For many reasons, and like that's something that really kind of hit me, is like, you know, yes, $11,000 for a Honda Hornet is a very reasonable price, but it's still not something I'm going to rush out and buy, because I mean, at the end of the day, $11,000, I don't have it in my pocket. It's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money for a lot of people, like the vast majority of people, in my opinion. And, you know, maybe it's just the fact that I don't look at things like, oh, this would be this much per month. I don't look at things like that. I'm like, I want to go and I want to buy this and own it. That's how I've always looked at stuff. And, you know, it's why I'll probably never drive like a super fancy new car, because I genuinely don't understand how someone goes out and drops, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 or euro on a new car. I mean, how much do you have to have in your bank account to make, you know, that outlay comfortable? And that's always kind of how I look at it, is, you know, could I theoretically afford this per month over 8 years? Sure, but that's not a route that I ever personally want to go down, so I'm not going to. This is a pretty boring stretch on the way home, but it's quite pretty, especially at the moment. Look at that, like, I don't know, I must look up what those trees are. I saw them in the last video, so they're really cool. I wonder if they look like a type of cherry blossom. I need to look it up. Maybe they're like blackthorns or something. Don't blackthorns have... They don't look like blackthorns, so... Anyway, so yeah, that struck a chord with me. And also, just to say, first and foremost, massive congrats to Lamb Chops on the new Hornet, because I think it's a really cool bike. And, you know, so he's someone historically who has made really interesting videos and builds on, you know, like new bike purchases. I think they're like, he just seems like he comes across as a really normal person. And at the end of the day, we're all normal people who like bikes, right? That's the bulk of the people I've talked to. So I think him having that bike, same as like the likes of Hippo Drones getting a bike, I always think that's going to be some of the most valuable reviews out there, because, you know, that's kind of what, at the end of the day, everyone's just like 90+% of people are just normal people who, you know, want to just do normal things and earn normal amounts of money and whatnot. Like, it's all well and good looking at, you know, God, I can't remember his name, but there was a YouTuber he's just minted for, I don't know how, like, through what, but like, he goes out and buys every single new bike, and then, you know, sells them a year later, buys the next new bike a year later. And to me, that's not really representative of normal. It's not something I can aspire to, so it makes me not want to watch them as much. And that's not their fault. It's just that it's like, well, I don't vibrate with this person. Thank you, Flagger people. Yeah, you know, like, they're not speaking my language, so to speak. Like, them saying, oh, this is a great deal for a $26,000 bike. It's just not something that I can relate to, because to me it's like, what? You know, like, this was a great deal. Good old Stromboli. I've had Stromboli like two and a bit years now. That's, you know, that's what I try to make video footage on, is just like normal bikes for normal people, so to speak. And I hope that resonates, you know, because it's kind of, it's all I can do. I'm a normal person and I make normal bike stuff for normal people, so that's all I can make. And yeah, basically, like, I really hope that the Hornet coming out at such a good value point really starts to drive the motorcycle industry back towards more reasonable prices, because I do think, you know, and I think it's happened to a lot of industries. It happened to the car industry as well over COVID, and I just think it kind of destroyed a lot of stuff. I mean, car prices have gone absolutely insane. If you compare, like, you know, in Europe, like your standard Audi A4 from 2019 to now, like, it's not like it's that much better a car now, and it's just ludicrously priced. Like, I don't know who they're making them for. I really don't, and that's sad. But you know, it is what it is. I can't change it. I can just talk about it and whinge, which I do. You know, it's a large part of my channel. It's having a good whinge on occasion. I love the sound of this bike. I just love this bike, to be honest. It's a great bike. But yeah, that's you know, like I said, congrats to Lamb Chaps. But I think that's a kind of a thought process. If people, I really would not like to see people thinking like that. That, oh, you know, Honda, Kawasaki, they're doing us a favor. Look at how nice they're being, dropping these prices. At the end of the day, we should all be thanking the likes of CF Moto, because the market dictates the price. And if CF Moto have come out and created demand at a lower price point and have succeeded in selling bikes at that lower price point, that is what makes other manufacturers adjust. And you know, pie in the sky goal for me would be like a brand new Aprilia RS V4 or a brand new Aprilia Tuono V4 factory or something. But at the end of the day, I'm probably never going to own one, and that's something I just have to be okay with, because I legitimately probably just can never afford one. And you know, that, like I said, that has to be okay. I'm a normal person, and unfortunately, us normies, you know, we don't get to go buy the Ferraris and own the super nice houses with the big garage space and do all the cool projects. It's just, sometimes it's not in the cards. And, you know, for me, it's probably not in the cards. You know, I work hard, I earn good money. I feel like I've done well in my career and whatever else, but it's just, I wonder can we go that way? I think it's just a house though, so we probably can't. I don't want to invade their house. But yeah, it's just something that I personally, I don't know, I can't see myself ever hitting it big or whatever. Like, I still get asked all the time by people watching old videos, because I have like 500 plus videos, so you know, people see like 10 of them and then, you know, make their assumption on where I'm at from videos that are maybe 3-4 years old. And I still get asked all the time, like, oh, would you like to do YouTube full time? And like, realistically, it's one of those things, like, I don't know, I can't see it ever happening. It'd be really cool, I wouldn't complain. If it happened, I'd be happy, for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you even look at the likes of Blockhead, who recently kind of closed up his garage portion of his big old shed shop thing, just because it wasn't profitable or whatever else. I think that's profitable. I want a profiterole now. And look, there's another one of those pretty trees. If you know what those are, let me know. I'm going to Google it later, but I don't know, and I'd like to know. Well, yeah, like, I don't think it's crazy to me to ever be like, oh, thank you, corporate overlords, for giving us, you know, a price that we're actually able to pay. And I mean, yeah, it's cool that Honda have done it, and I hope, like I said, I hope everyone else follows suit and brings prices down. There are some good value bikes out there. I think the Hornet, like a Honda, as good as we know Hondas are, a Honda creating something that like legitimately I could theoretically go and buy new if I save for it and sold this bike, and you know, that to me is really cool. That's what you know it should be like. If you work a normal job and earn decent money, you should be able to afford a house. You should be able to afford like a new bike. Now, obviously, I kind of screw myself over because I buy lots of bikes, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm okay with the stuff I do. Could I have one newer bike if I sold all the rest of the bikes? Sure, but then I wouldn't have an SV650 track bike, and I wouldn't have the Z, and I wouldn't have this, and I wouldn't have a bike for Toaster. So it's just one of those things. It's like, but you know, that's kind of where my head goes to. Is like, I would rather have multiple bikes rather than one new one. And you know, someone has said to me before, oh, you could afford an Aprilia. Actually, all of my bikes together cost me less than one new Aprilia Tuono V4 factory. There's a little fun fact for you. Actually, considerably less. Remember when I looked it up, it was like there was still a large gap. There was another good bike gap in the difference of cost. So, no, actually, you're wrong. you can get good value used bikes if you look around, you know. Oh, yeah. Get the good lean going. But that's you know, that's all I wanted to say is, you know, like, I really hope we see more Honda Hornets style bikes, that value level, that cost percentage, that performance for that cost. I think that's really cool, and I hope long may it continue. And whoever was the catalyst that made it happen, whether it be CF Moto or just general market anyway, and you know, manufacturers realizing, hey, maybe our bikes are too expensive now. Whatever that adjustment was, I'm thankful that it happened. And also, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Lamb Chop Rides does with his Hornet. So that I'm going to stay tuned for that. Hopefully, you know, if any of you have an interest in it, you also have a look. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. What do you think? Like, do you think that bikes have become too expensive just in general? Because at the end of the day, like, a bike for me isn't just a toy. It is certainly partly like a more fun thing than a car. I haven't owned a car that I wanted to own just for fun ever. Actually, they've always been like, you know, an A to B machine primarily, like 90% A to B. Whereas a bike, in Ireland especially, it was an A to B machine as well. But there was, like, even if it was purely my only mode of transport, which the CBF was for a while, it's still like 50-50, because, like, you never don't have fun. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, like, for me, okay, it might make sense to spend more on a bike like this that's going to commute and stuff for me as well. But for a lot of people, bikes are just mostly for fun, like 90% for fun, 10% for practicality. So in the Western world, obviously. So, you know, I think for something that is a depreciating toy, I just think a lot of bikes have become too expensive for most of us, for us normies out there. What do you think? And yeah, if you watched, thank you very much for watching. Go give Lamb Chop Rides a look. You can tell him I said hello if you want. He probably has no idea who I am. And yeah, until next time, thank you again to all of my patrons for your support. I do appreciate you all a lot. A lot. And until next time, thank you again for watching. Adios. Outro crew. If you could buy one new bike, like, just assume it was a reasonable price level, and assume manufacturers can adjust to make it a reasonable price level. Actually, I'm going to go the longer way home, because I'm stuck. Oh, wait, no, I'm good. Yeah, what would it be? If you could pick one and, like, make it so that it was an affordable bike for you, what would it be? Obviously, you can't go for stuff that's, like, crazy money, like not crazy money. I mean, some people can afford them, but the likes of GS's and stuff, you know, what would you go for? Actually, yeah, whatever. No rules. Who am I to decide rules? I'm just a guy. What would you go for if you could afford it? Let me know. And this is Clayton. Clayton's nice. Bye, Outro Crew.